How's it going, guys? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. So thank you guys again for joining us for another live stream. I'm sorry for the last one not having any sound, so I had to restart my computer. But I'm not too sure if you guys heard everything that is that I was explaining during my live stream. Actually, I'm sorry for the last one. Let me go ahead and shut this off, man. This is just so much fun. No, I'm still live. But let's go ahead and see what you guys are doing today. So pretty much, I was talking about CIE and the reverse stock split that it went under. Whoa. During our live stream, we saw the huge drop that it had. It was that reverse stock split all the way down to 282. And I was saying due to that reverse stock split, that a majority of you guys were probably down if you ended up holding it overnight. So if you guys don't know what a reverse stock split, I have a video specifically, explaining what that is. But if you guys want me to make another one, then I'd be happy to explain that. So I simply went on news. And one of the top things is Cobalt affects a 1 of 15 reverse stock split, meaning that it increases 15 times what the normal value was. And then that's what caused it to be trading at about like $3.20. Had a huge drop to 282, and then had a huge rise. So had a pullback, and that pullback had a huge rise to 410. Another pullback to about 360 support. It looks like it's holding, and now it's starting to rise again. So hopefully some of you were able to see that huge increase in price. I did not see that coming whatsoever. So we are about 16 minutes in already. I do apologize again for it experiencing such a delay within our live stream. Another one that I saw that had potential due to its huge drop is DRYS. DRYS has been consistently on a downward trend. On a downward trend. And I'm not sharing my screen. So let me go ahead and start sharing my screen with you guys. Really sorry, guys. I'm all over the place. I just got really frustrated with my computer not working, and finally got internet connection. So pretty much what I was talking about was before with CIE. Had a huge drop all the way down to 280. I talked about the reverse stock split and asking you guys if this is not something you guys understand. I'd be more than happy to make a video explaining what a reverse stock split is. If you haven't seen the one I've already made, had a huge increase in price all the way up to 410, and now it's having another huge drop. So I actually think it's being overhyped right now. And then we're going to continue to see it come back down to that 280 support. The other one that I was talking about was DRYS. Due to the huge drop that it had from about 175 all the way down to at 130, it had a huge drop right now to 124. And in that 124, it's bouncing. It came back up to 128. So that margin of profit's like 3% already. So that's pretty big. DRYS has consistently been on a downward trend. So that's something that I don't find very attractive for DRYS, but I'm going to continue looking and see what it is that I find. Another huge drop is by AUI. I guess necessarily it's not a huge drop from where it stood. It's down about 5%. But if this support holds at 233, for those that are watching for the first time and don't really understand the title of pullbacks and how to buy at the bounce, usually what I do is, as you guys can see right now, it had a huge drop, so it's down about almost 5% from where it previously closed at, right? It had a huge drop, and now it's bouncing. So what I mean by bouncing is that it's identified its support at 233, and now it's showing signs of upward momentum. It looks like a previous resistance was 235. So if we can get above 235, then this is going to be the two parts of this video. I'm sorry, it's like if I have something stuck in my throat. Let me go ahead and figure that out. I do apologize. All right, I just chugged a beer. Not totally kidding. I want to make sure you guys know that I'm kidding. I just chugged Coke, Coca-Cola, not alcohol at all. So I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen. So What I mean by this video, if you guys can see, it's like how to buy stock at the dip and how to calculate risk. So this is actually probably what I'm going to end up doing right now. It just broke the resistance at 135, which is a resistance that it struggled to go above. Now it's showing signs of upward momentum. Again, this isn't going to be a huge gain or anything like that based on what I realistically see it to play out to be, but it had a drop. It built a support, so it had a huge drop, built its support. So catching it at the bounce, it's not about buying it at the lowest price, but what I like to do is catching it at the bounce. It just broke the resistance that it had at 235, so that's ideally where I would like to buy, and then like to sell around 240. So that margin of profit's about 2%. Again, nothing huge, but it makes sense to me, and that's what I want you guys to understand. This gap that it's built, it's now bouncing at the support. So this is the support, and the resistance would most likely be at where the old support was, which is around 240. So support, resistance, it's now showing signs of upward momentum, and this is what I like to invest in. I don't like to invest on downward trends. I like to invest when it starts to rise, and that makes sense to me, right? It's at 235, so this would be something that I would consider buying into. And I hope that makes sense to you guys. If it doesn't make sense, 100% don't trade it. Never invest in anything you don't see value in or you don't understand. This whole point of this video is to identify, stocks that are, that have potential, how I personally do it, and how to manage risk. That's one of the biggest things. So how would I manage risks trading AUY? Well, you always want to make sure that your potential for profit is greater than your potential for loss. So if I wanted to get in, when it broke above 135 and wanted to sell at 140, my potential for profit's about 2.14%. My potential for loss from 235, I would stop loss out if it goes below the support that it had during market open, and that's less than 1% loss. So my potential for profit is twice as much as my potential for loss. For some people, that might be a trade worth doing. For some, it might not be worth it because potential profit isn't as much as maybe something else. So that's all I do. I identify support, identify resistance. I set up a plan on, okay, I'm going to wait for the bounce. I'm going to wait for it to go above this old resistance of 135. Once it goes above 135, that's showing me that this EMA line is now bouncing, showing signs of upward momentum. Or EMA line, yeah, the RSI indicator showed that that was a good buy. And it's as simple as that. Now it's at 236, 237, and we'll see if it continues to rise. I ended up not jumping in. I'm actually in ECYT. And it's at 153. Another thing, if you guys didn't see my video, is I played it very simple. I manage my risk in everything it is that I choose to invest in, and I make it as simple as I can for myself. And what I mean by that is that we have to go to a 10-day analysis. And again, guys, if this doesn't make sense to you guys, there's nothing wrong with taking a step back, just analyzing, watching how things play out. But this is what I like to do with every stock I trade. I like to manage my risk, calculate to see if the trade is even worth it, set up a plan on how I'm going to trade it, and see if it works out, right? You always have to, by managing your risk means to always have a plan to cut losses or and to lock in profits. So it has a support, so 150, meaning that this stock, ECYT, holds above $1.50 within the past, 5 days, let's say. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. So 7 days, it's held above $1.50, and it has a resistance at around 160, meaning that it doesn't hold very well above 160. So realistically, for it to go above 160 within one day isn't very realistic. And again, we're all about not hoping for the best, but making sure that whatever it is that we're planning on doing makes sense. So support's at 150, resistance is at 160. So as this stock was at 151, it was holding above 151 pretty well all day on Friday. So I decided to jump on in at 151. I know the support's at 150, so I'm going to cut my losses if it goes below 150, meaning that my margin for risk from 151 to 150 is less than 1%. Now, I get in at 151, where am I going to be planning on selling? Or realistically, I want to sell anything around 155 to 160. So once it goes above 155, I'm going to set my stop loss there. If it, fills there, then that's it. I locked in my profit from 151 to 155, which is about 2.5% more than the average profit you need for this $1,000 challenge. It does have even more potential to go all the way up to 160. Realistically, it doesn't do that very often, but it has done it before, as you can see, in one day from here to here, and then from here to here. And then this day, it has these smaller margins of profits at least to 155, and that's what I'm looking for realistically. I think I can do that within one day, but all of a sudden, if the stock takes a dip, what do I do? Because you're never 100% sure, and this is investing, this is like, trading, and there's always a margin for risk, for loss, right? And you have to understand that if you're not okay with that, then I mean, penny stocks or investing might not be something you want to get into, especially if you don't know how to manage it. And that's why I'm making this video, because I want to make sure that each and every one of you guys knows how to manage your own picks. Not Don't let anyone else tell you, where you should buy, where you should sell, but for you to individually be able to understand how to buy, how to sell, and how to manage your risk. So because my margin for profit realistically, even within one day, is about 3%, when my margin for loss is less than 1%, that makes sense to me. I already have my stop loss set at 150. So if it goes below 150, I will fill and, cut my losses in that position. And I am trading with a little bit over $3,000 on this position. So I do want to clarify that I'm not using the Robinhood account anymore. I'm waiting for the cash to settle so I can pull that out. But I'm going to be selling, and most likely selling at 155. And it's as simple as that. Right now it's at 152, 153. So I am up. So I can, literally lock in profit from the 151 to 153. And that's a little bit over 1%. So that's great. But realistically, I think I can squeeze in a little bit more. And it looks like hopefully the volume is picking up. But I need that break above 153. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that within the next couple of minutes. But if you guys could see, all these arrows indicate all these indicators, or all these arrows are indicating where my alerts are at. So once it breaks above a certain point, then that will let me know. I want to hear what you guys have to say. God, Ricky, where's that hat? If you guys are talking about my hat, then I am wearing it. It looks like one of you guys are trading ARNA, so that's great for you. How long does it take your cash to settle? About 5 days within Robinhood. At least that's usually how long it takes me for my cash to settle. So it looks like a couple of you guys were looking at DCTH. So if you guys didn't see my Sunday stock talk kind of video that I made a couple hours ago, so you guys can watch before this live stream. So DCTH, again, I don't personally, wait, I don't think I spelled that right. DCTH, here we go. He had a huge rise. Let's see if we can actually catch it. Had a huge rise during pre-market hours, so to 111, and it previously closed at 5 cents. So for a lot of you guys might be in the green. I would say lock in profits. The reason I would say that, or at least have a stop loss to lock in profits, is there's been a lot of talk about DCTH being delisted. So what being delisted means that it's not meeting certain requirements through NASDAQ, and it will most likely, once it gets the news that it's getting delisted, lose, 50 to 75% of its value. If you guys are up in a true penny stock, again, I don't trade stocks that are less than 50 cents, and that's just because of my comfort area. If you guys saw my video, I talked about that they had a margin of profit. I mean, a lot smaller than this. I didn't see it actually go until 11 cents. But again, I don't trade these lower cap stocks. So we do have a subgroup within TechBot Solutions, and that is OTC stocks. And Bradley Smith actually is the one that runs that group. So feel free to reach out to him. He's one that's very knowledgeable about these breakout stocks that are in that low cap area. So feel free to reach out to him within the TechBot Solutions group chat. And then feel free to join his group. It's the OTC group, and the link should be provided for you guys on the Facebook platform, if I'm not mistaken. Again, for those that don't know where to locate the top pin post, it's right here, so you guys can join the series of group chats we have available. And the OTC group chat is right here. The main group chat is currently full, and I am working on that for you guys. So let's continue looking. I have my alerts set. None of them have triggered. So it looks like DRYS is still at that 125 support. Again, just continuously dropping. And I don't want to invest anything that's continuously dropping. So that's why I'm not going into DRYS. I did get an alert on JNUG, and where is that at? Right here. So I had a huge drop. It looks like he has a support here at 1721. Previously, that's where it bounced. Resistance is at old support. So if you guys didn't know about JNUG, we had a previous support at around 1750. So like we know old supports become new resistance levels, and as it bounced at the support at 1720, it hit nearly its resistance and then saw a huge drop. So it has a small margin of profit of about 1.5%. You guys have to calculate or make sense of it. Is that worth a day trade for you guys? A lot of you guys are using the Robinhood platform, and is that worth a day trade to buy in here and sell in here and lock in that 1.5%? If it is and it makes sense to you guys and you guys understand the risk and it makes sense to you, then go for it. But if not, then continue searching. But again, don't feel overwhelmed just because there's whoa, my goodness. Had a previous resistance at 1730 and now had this huge drop. I'm wondering if this is where it's gonna bounce. So I'm gonna set my alert. Yeah, at 1730, that's ridiculous. Um, but what I was trying to say was that a lot of people sometimes are overwhelmed. Yeah, it just broke support at 1730. A lot of people ask me sometimes, like, Ricky, I don't have anything to trade on Monday. Like, what is it that I should be looking at? Guys, you guys are the investors. You guys are the ones that should be, in a sense, identifying the potential and seeing what makes sense to you guys. If any of the stocks within your watch list don't have potential at certain time, then maybe working on your watch list can help out in expanding it. But also understand that just because nothing's going according to your plan doesn't mean that you have to if nothing's going the way that you want it to go, then why day trade, right? Why invest or why risk money when nothing's going according to your plan? Never force a trade and never jump into hype if you don't understand it. That's again one of the biggest areas of encouragement that I want to make sure you guys understand. It's when people tend to see the most losses is when they're not fully committed on what it is that they're trying to do, and that's make money. Remember that just because you're going to miss out on one day out of the years that you plan on doing this as a career, why does that matter? You guys have to understand, okay, well, if nothing's going according to your plan within the first 30 minutes, think about opportunity cost. Okay, maybe it's not worth my time at this moment. I'll follow up with this one, later down the road, and I'll take the day off, and I'll whatever it is, right? Whatever you guys want to make sense of. Holy moly, Snapchat is tanking. Wow. Okay. So it previously had a bounce one, two, three, four times at $17. So I'm gonna message my buddy Jeremy because he's the one that actually talks to me about Snapchat. I'm gonna take a look and let me know what he thinks. All right. Well, I'm actually not gonna message him because it people's numbers always pop up on my screen. So I'm going to see if this bounces at 17. If it bounces at 17, then this is, again, it's all about calculating risk. I don't care about getting in at the lowest point. All I care about is getting in at the bounce. And it hasn't hit 17 just yet. So I'm going to be patient. At first, once it comes back up, has a nice little resistance at 1730. So that margin of profit is 1.7%. But like we did on Friday, I called out the bounce at $17 and ended up hitting highs of 1790. And where did I call the first resistance to be? At 1730, just based on the previous resistance, just like it did right there. But once it broke through, it hit that old resistance that it had here at 1780s at 1790, and it played out just like planned. I didn't do anything special. I didn't look at any scanners. I didn't do anything like different than what you guys could do. All I did was I looked at previous trends, I looked at supports, looked at resistance, managed my risk, and it made sense to me. And that's what led to a successful trade. I didn't end up jumping in on Snapchat, but um, like a lot of people were able to make the judgment based on me just simply talking about it, that it was not a bad stock to look into. So I'm going to continue looking. I'm going to set my alert when it goes below this 1705. PBR finally rising from that $8 support. I don't know if you guys have seen, but PBR is a Brazilian petroleum company, and it has been on a consistent downward trend, and now finally it shows to be seeing some upward momentum. So it saw a 2% increase today from its lowest point, and its first resistance is going to be at about, yeah, that was an old support. So 830 will be the first resistance. So or 820, and then 830. But yeah, this is definitely one that I think I'll follow up with. JNUG looks like it bounced. Let's see. Way too far back. Let's see. Support at 850. I don't know if you guys saw my trade on this one last time when I bought in at 850 because I thought that was a support. I ended up selling at 860 later throughout the day, and I called it out within the group chat. But again, support was overall at 844. I bought in at the bounce. I bought in when it went above 850, and then ended up selling at 860. Although I ended up hitting highs of a little bit over 870 after market hours. But again, you never know what's going to happen. So I locked in profit, and that's all that really mattered. JDS2 with the resistance at 70. So really struggling to go above 70 again and holding above 70. So based on these past couple of days, ECYT went above. Okay, perfect. So it's at 154. I'm going to set my stop loss. So pretty much all I wanted to say was it was really struggling to go above 70, and it had a support at 56. And these are the lows and the highs that I was looking at in JDST. The same with JNUG since that's the inverse ETF. So right now JNUG is more at the low point. So although again a lot of news isn't going well for JNUG, I think that this one has the most margin for profit or most margin to make up since it has a lot more, again margin to make up. So it's as simple as that. ECYT. 153 to 155. Wow, this thing's gapping up. Let's see. Again, guys, but please, if it doesn't make sense to you guys, don't trade. Again, I want to make sure that you guys understand that I'm not 152. So buyers at 152, sellers at 155. There's a huge margin. Right now is at 153 is where the average price is at. Most likely think people are just going to start selling at like 153. It's usually what ends up happening unless there's a huge volume spike, which I don't really think there's going to be one since it's ECYT. So support at 151. Right now it's at 154. And then it hit highs of during pre-market hours of 155. So realistically, I actually think that's where I'm going to be selling just because I don't see it playing out to 160. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That would be my day trade for the day, and then I can enjoy the rest of the day. So I'll probably be watching Snapchat because Snapchat looks pretty attractive to me from that bounce at 17 since it's been holding so well. But again, you never know that it's going to continue to hold at 17. So that's why I would suggest always have a stop loss, and that would be my plan to minimize loss and promote growth. So buyers at 153, sweet. Let's see. RSI is not showing it that it's like way oversold or anything like that. 152, 155. During 155, the RSI did show that it was more on the overbought side, so that's a good indicator that 155 would be a good sell point. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. Let's see. Snap is bouncing. Thank you for that, Pat or Pack. I appreciate it. So how do you do one click from the watch list and make it show up on the, so thank you for asking that question. I actually learned that from my buddy Connor. I actually have his channel if you guys haven't followed him already or subscribed to him. He's a member within TechBud Solutions, and he's one that is going to be leading the breakouts for TechBud Solutions. So he's one that does that very well. And he has a bunch of videos explaining how to use like TD Ameritrade and kind of how he uses it. And simply what I did was I went and I linked this, so this little link that it allows you to have. I linked this to red, and then I linked my my charts to red. So every time that I click on, BAC or anything on my watch list, it populates right away. So it makes it that much easier and that much more efficient for me to watch. So I hope that helps you out. But again, I learned that all by watching this guy, Connor. So feel free to reach out to him and feel free to subscribe. His subscribers have drastically increased. And I don't want to say that it's because of me, but it's definitely, I think, because of the content that he puts out there. He's a very knowledgeable trader. Crud. We got sellers at 154. But he's a very knowledgeable trader. He just shares his whole thought process. So I think he'd be a great person to watch or look out for when it comes to trying to focus on what's it called, breakouts And what I mean by that is, one of the biggest questions is as I get a little bit more busy with this group and as I get a little bit more busy with my other businesses, like it's been very difficult for me to manage everything that is that TechBud can offer, right? And am I going to just stop there? Well, I think if I continue bringing people on board with TechBud solutions, and again, I'm asking you guys, like, what do you guys think, and what do you guys think we should continue to implement within our community? You know, continue to bring on people that in a sense promote the same type of environment, a supportive and welcoming environment. We're never going to tell you what to trade, but we're always going to be here to share our whole thought process on what's led our success. Connor is someone that's very successful when it comes to breakout stocks, so I thought I love his attitude. I love the environment that he promotes. He was uploading videos on our Facebook platform, and people loved it. There was just like he would get more likes and more comments than I would, because he was such a new person and he was trading something that I'm not usually trading, and that's breakout stocks. So why not bring someone on board with TechBud Solutions that offers a completely different niche, right? I'm not here to try to capitalize on everything, right? But offer and at least have someone that can represent that specific type of trading style, and then allow you guys, those that like that specific trading style rather than more of my technical type of trading styles, go more for breakouts. And if that works for you guys, understand that my style of trading isn't going to work for each and every one of you guys. And I appreciate you guys always watching my videos, but why not bring someone on board that can offer something that can be a little bit more, in a sense, just useful for you guys if that's your successful style. So I hope you guys understand that. It looks like ECYT is back at 152, 154. So I'm just going to follow up with it. I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. All I ask you guys is, if you guys aren't a part of TechBud Solutions, if you guys want, the link is provided for you down below. You simply have to have a Facebook group and then you ask to join. And in doing that, we do something. I just explained, and this video will go and get reposted if you guys want to watch a little bit more of it. But all I did was I talked about how I buy stocks at the dip, how I wait for the bounce, and how I manage my risk. It's something that I think is very easy for me to understand, and people find it very easy to understand when I explain it. So that's why I made this video. I'm going to continue trying to go live for my days here in Spain every single day, as the markets open, for at least 30 to 45 minutes. And again, just sharing my whole thought process, and I hope guiding you guys in the right direction, meaning that I'm not going to, again, if you guys are here for me to tell you what stocks to trade, and where to buy in and where to sell, I'm not going to be doing that. So I hope you guys understand. But I'm here to at least provide a platform that you guys can share your ideas and network with one another. And we have over 24,000 members within our TechBud Solutions community. And again, the links for the group chat, if you guys haven't watched this video, it's on the top pinned post within the Facebook platform. And you just simply download the app. It's GroupMe, so it's a free app. And you talk to everyone. And you talk about what they're trading. You talk about what you're trading. You share ideas. And again, only trade what makes sense to you, and never trade based on anyone else's opinion. Never let anyone influence something that can allow you to risk more money than you're comfortable with. It comes down to you as the investor to make sense of whatever it is that you're choosing to invest in. And I want to make sure that you guys succeed because of your hard work. And that's, you guys might get lucky from time to time if you guys go based on and mimic, my trades and stuff like that. But if I'm not here tomorrow, in the long run, you have to understand the fundamentals of trading. And I think that's definitely something that you can learn from when there's thousands of members sharing their ideas and their best practices and their mistakes. So you don't have to repeat those mistakes, and you can learn by example, or by their best practice. So I hope that makes sense to you guys, and we can go from there. So it's back at 152 to 153 for ECYT. And I'll follow up with you guys, letting you guys know how my position goes on that. If I end up stop lossing out, or if I end up just locking in my profits. I think me and my girlfriend are going to be spending the day on the beach. I'm not too sure, but I'm going to have my order set. I don't have any internet connection when I leave. So just in small little spots. So I appreciate all the support that you guys are giving me and giving our community. You guys have been doing so well in managing the group yourselves. I do have different moderators within the group, so feel free to reach out to them. One of them is James, one of them is Nick Donahue, one of them is Justin Lawrence, and one of them is Bradley Smith. And there's, my goodness, there should be more, but feel free to reach out to them. They're ones that are very active within our group, so I hope that they can answer your questions if I'm not available. But if you guys want to reach out to me directly, just direct message me within the TechBud Solutions group chat. I want to answer some questions for you guys. Kevin G says, I can't say the first word, but he says, "Yeah, I made 7% on Mossy all day." So super great. Mossy was one that we were talking about last week, but I'm sure that's all because of your hard work. Really do appreciate you sharing that, Kevin. So, Pack the Man says, quick opinion on ADMP. He made $200 on the bounce from $4.50 until that 4.95. That's huge. So Norman says, keep doing the live stream videos whenever you can. They're very helpful for newbies like me. Norman, I really do appreciate all your support, and I'm really glad that you find these videos useful. And Joseph says, keep your eyes on tops. I'm asked if I'm a millionaire. No, I'm guessing you're asking that because of the video that I made about the making of a millionaire. If you guys watched my first video, I explain exactly what the whole purpose of those videos are. So I made a video with like Tanner Fox, Jeremy Bow, and Jordan Bow, which are the Bow Bros. They're all YouTube creators. They have like over 400,000 subscribers and then over 4.1 million for Tanner. And it's just amazing just talking about, what has led to their success and stuff like that. And they're guys that I came to travel with here in Spain. So I think you guys will really enjoy that video. It's actually a lot of fun. It's not as serious as my usual videos are. So I'm going to look at ADMP real quick for you, bud. You caught the bounce. Wow, you caught the bounce perfectly. That's perfect. So, okay. I'm going to share my screen, and I think because you played it out very safe and it made sense. It makes sense to me, at least. So he said he caught ADMP at the bounce. So how could he have caught ADMP at the bounce? Well, it had a previous support at about $5, and it broke that support. It bounced at 455, and then it started to see an upward trend. I would have gotten in more around like 460 and giving it these 5 cents to rise back up. And you sold perfectly. He said you sold at 495. That's actually pretty safe. I like how he sold where the old support was, which is where the new resistance is, and that played out perfectly. Old support to become new resistance, and that margin for profit is, dude, that's like 8%. That's huge. So that definitely makes sense. You waited for the bounce, you bought in when it started, seeing signs of upward momentum like this, and not like this. And a lot of people try to get in at the lowest price and don't ever do that because you'll continue to stop loss out. So it's all about managing your risk. Something I would have done was, okay, I would have gone in at the bounce, gone in when it went above 460, and I would have stop lossed out if it went below 455, and I would have locked in profits around 490 to $5 because that's where the old support was. So that would make sense to me. So I think you did that beautifully, and now it's holding about 480 and a resistance at 490. So maybe we can squeeze in a little bit more profit here from 480 to $5. But again, if the volume dies out, then we might not be able to do that. But great job. I mean that. You did it. You probably had to react very quickly, and that's amazing. So, let's see if I can find you again. Pack the Man, 100%. And you definitely sound like you're the man. So at least today, I feel like really awkward. My girlfriend's laughing. I made 3% today. That's by Travis. That was awesome. That's by so man. So Tosh Fulton says the number one thing that has saved me multiple times that you say, Ricky, is cutting losses quickly and setting a stop loss. And again, I'm not here to. One of my videos that is going to go live tomorrow for you guys, I believe it's going to be when I'm asleep, but I have it scheduled for tomorrow. I kind of just talk about how I buy and sell different things on the side, as in like my cars and my motorcycles. But it's really just me buying and selling these motorcycles. This Ducati that I had, I sold it like about a month ago, but I just barely had time during my travel here to Spain to edit the video. And I caught myself actually talking about something very important, and it's about starting like an honest business. And even though it's a concept so simple, it starts with the small things, right? So how he's talking about, I repeat myself and I express the same message over and over again. And although a lot of people might not find that useful because they hear it over and over again, for a lot of new traders that are joining us, and for one of the most common mistakes is people don't cut their losses and they don't understand the importance of managing, their risk. And this, I guess, this comes more to a technical trader because I guess I'm not 100% sure if it would work for breakouts. So that's something that you would have to ask Connor about. But for me, because it's all about technical analysis, low points, high points, like support resistance, buying it at the bounce, and managing your risk. That makes sense to me, and that's what I do every single time. And the importance of cutting losses, although I repeat it, hundreds of times, like within my videos, you'd be surprised the amount of people saying that I made the mistake of not cutting my losses and I will never make that mistake again. And that's why I express this so consistently because it's so important for you guys to understand the importance of managing your risk. And the way you manage your risk is to keep losses small and to keep profits big. That's the only way your account's going to continue to grow. And I hope you guys understand that. So I really do appreciate Tosh you taking out some time of your day and writing that little message for me. So thank you. So Pac the Man says sorry, 458. So great. I'm glad that you're able to get in at that. Agree with Taj. That's by VW. Thanks, man. And easy 14-cent profit on CSLN. I did see that bounce, so great for you. So why I'm gonna end it with this question. Why aren't you Snapchat went below 1706, and this is what I mean about being patient. So I'm gonna have to end this live stream soon, just so I can go back to possibly getting in on Snapchat. But give me one quick second. And I'm gonna end it with, and it's what are you using to trade now that you aren't using Robinhood, your Fidelity account? Yeah, I don't know, guys. Like I explain it to you guys like very often. That I was using Fidelity because I mean I use like day trading for these 2 hours. I use it for a source of my income. So although I was doing the Robinhood $1,000 challenge with you guys with simply $1,000, I was still day trading with my normal account of over $30,000 with my Fidelity account. Just that I didn't necessarily like paying commissions. But now it's a lot easier. It's just a lot easier for me to just use it on the Fidelity account. But yeah, I'm using the Fidelity account. I day trade still the same as I used to. Just that I wasn't sharing all that because I wanted you guys to focus on, this $1,000 challenge and the importance of the power of compounded interest. Because sometimes, like me trading with like over $30,000, realistically, for those that are watching for the first time, it doesn't make sense about it and kind of just sharing my whole thought process on when I trade with, a lot more money than the majority of you guys, because there's certain restrictions that I don't experience that you guys do because you guys have a smaller account. So the whole point of this challenge was to put myself in your guys' shoes and to try to make, grow my account just like you guys from $1,000 to $20,000. But in doing that, I was still day trading with my Fidelity account 100% every single day. I just wasn't sharing that with you guys because, again, I wanted to keep the focus off of what I was making, you know, with my day trades and focusing on my Robinhood. So I wasn't actually doing that well when I was doing both just because it was a little bit more overwhelming. And again, I only day trade for about 2 hours. And again, I still had my day job and the different business that I run on the side. So it was very overwhelming. So I'm glad I'm able to take this break during my, in a sense, 2-week kind of trip here to Spain. But I'm still day trading every day. It's something that I really enjoy to do. I get to day trade at 3:30 p.m., which is something completely different that I normally have to do in Arizona, which is 6:30 a.m. So it's a very fun experience for me, and I'm so blessed to be able to share this with each and every one of you guys. So thank you guys again for joining us, and that's really just it. So I'm glad. It looks like all the feedback that I'm receiving from you guys is saying that you guys are really enjoying these live streams. Okay, so David Jones is saying, like, why did I end up deciding to go into ECYT if it's less than 100K volume? If that's one of my criteria, I'm guessing that's what you're saying. 100% agree. It's just more of that technical analysis that it made sense to me to trade. And I've stop lossed out on ECYT before, and it was just worth the risk for me. And again, it all comes down to risk management. So I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. If you guys really did enjoy this video, if you guys can, and I know it's something that a lot of people ask from you, I don't necessarily care too much about the likes or the thumbs up. If you guys can, that would be great. All I really want is if you guys can share this video with someone that you think can benefit from the information being shared. That's what I think we would really appreciate, because then that means that the message that we are sharing within Technical Solutions gets to be expressed or reached out to a couple more people. So we'd appreciate that if you guys can subscribe. We do upload daily videos about twice a day. I go live usually Monday through Friday, and then I either make a follow-up video or make a helpful video that you guys suggest for me to answer any frequently asked questions or anything like that. So I'd love to have you guys come along within my travels here in Spain. And if there's any recommendations, again, I really don't care that I'm traveling, guys. I want you guys to reach out to me and ask me any questions. I want to, still stay intact with everything it is that we're doing with TechBot Solutions. So please feel free to reach out to me, and it's been so amazing that I've been able to communicate with you guys again in my travel here. Um, and still be able to do this. It's so surreal. It's definitely a true blessing, and I'm so glad that I'm able to share it with each and every one of you guys. So again, like always, let's make sure that we're in the year on a green note. Take care, guys, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Take care, guys.